Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1007. Hello, it is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Castro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Today, it's the return of the much-loved segment, the MIKELOPEDIA Insanica. We look at some interesting news stories you didn't know. Plus, we have the Daily Haley, and we hear from Chely Shoehart.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Floyd the Floorman. John Deere the engineer. Oh, with heavy heart.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I tried to eat at 11 a.m. at Panera. It's basically high-priced food from a cafeteria. Lots of nimrods there thinking they're eating healthy, but it's clearer that everything is around 1,000 calories. So listen, Vera, you eat there every day, your floor is gonna buckle.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
While eating there, an old man behind me made me chuckle because he was on his laptop and he was playing some really noisy video game. Oh,
yeah!
And the Panera blended mocha is lame. I like their fireplace, though. That was my Panera visit. You can order your food without going into the line. They've got all these little flat screens. And that's cool because that's a new wave, a new thing in restaurants. The type of restaurants where you walk in and order at the front and then sit down, that's going to go away, and you're going to have this little flat screen, and you pick your food, which is kind of cool because you can do all these add-ons and stuff that maybe you're too nervous to ask for with the cashier at the front when you're ordering your food. I'd like to order pasta, okay? But wait, I want extra cheese, okay? And I want extra spinach, okay? And I want extra olive oil, pesto. So without having to say all that and have all the people waiting in line behind you going, Jesus, you can do this on a flat screen, tapping the things on the touch screen. And then they just give you this little, those things that buzz, those little pager things that have the cool little lights that flash inside of them. They give that to you, and then you go sit down. That's the only cool thing about Panera. Other than that, it really is cafeteria food. Other than that, look who just walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, kitchen staff supervisor. What's wrong with cafeteria food? Nothing. Would you rather eat it in like a cafeteria that's really gross? Yeah, that would not be good. And like you sit there in the cafeteria, and it sounds kind of like this with all the people talking really loud in the background. Yeah. Cafe Anyway should become a cafeteria. Why? I'd have all the mac and cheese I could eat. Mike Matthews, then you'd be like 350 pounds. Yeah, I'd weigh a little bit more than I do now. That would not be good. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, ground control to Major Tom. Oh, the David Bowie, yes. That's really sad. Yes, I really enjoyed David Bowie's music. Yeah, Mike, we were big fans. Unlike that guy you had on yesterday. You mean Haley? You've met Haley before. Yeah, whatever. He's a hater. Lee. Hater Lee. Oh, that's interesting. No, David Bowie. I forgot to mention a couple other things on yesterday's little tribute show to him at the beginning of the show. I was talking about some of the songs I really liked. I forgot he was in Labyrinth. That's an odd movie. That's so odd. I couldn't get through it. It's on Netflix. And I love Jennifer Connelly. She's lovely. Oh, that's right. We talked about it with Kai Alfred Hillig and Pete Jordan, the singer-songwriters, last year when they came over to my house. And Basil had just been injured, and Basil was laying on top of Kai Alfred Hillig's lap. And we were discussing the loveliness of Jennifer Connelly. But Kai is supposedly going to be on the show next week. we'll finally have a segment of Into an Interview with a singer-songwriter, and this will be the third time he's been on the show. He's got a new album, so looking forward to that. But David Bowie, I forgot to mention also Under Pressure, the fantastic duet he did with Queen, with Freddie Mercury. One other interesting thing about that, too, well, a couple things, is that when Freddie died, there was a fantastic tribute to him. They did Under Pressure. It was David Bowie, but in the place of Freddie was Annie Lennox, and she did such a good job with Queen behind them performing. It was part of the Freddie Mercury tribute that they did in the early 90s, shortly after he passed away. And just Annie Lennox she's just so fantastic to watch on stage. It was a very interesting version of Under Pressure. George Michael did a great version of Someone to Love, by the way, in that. But back to David Bowie, and, you know, it's interesting, David Bowie did a music video. Perhaps you saw Lazarus or the Black Star video. Very bizarre. He just did those videos a few weeks ago. And there he was, you know, there he is, very sick, but he's still performing. He's still doing what he's done all his life. Making music videos, doing his little performance art, his bit of entertainment, his bit of, you know, expressing what's deep in his soul. And it's very interesting to watch those videos. And it kind of reminded me of the music video Freddie Mercury did towards the end of his life with Queen. And Those Were the Days of Our Lives, that song. And it's the last music video he ever did, and he looks so just emaciated. And at this point, he's just about to die from complications from AIDS. But David looks pretty good in his video. It's like he somehow, cancer's a strange disease. I don't get it. I don't know. But he still was able to do what David Bowie does, and he does his singing, and he does all his little David Bowie moves. It's amazing to watch those. If you're a big David Bowie fan, it's a great way to see him in his glory in his last days. By the way, that album, Black Star, is supposed to be a 7-song album, which is short of a typical album, but it'll be interesting to see what his last work is. Freddie Mercury did I think Queen finished up an album that featured him on his last vocals. I think it was called From Heaven, over 20 years ago. In other news, Basil met a cow face to face yesterday. That was kind of nerve-wracking. We were there on the trails of Five Canyons in Podcaster Valley, and there was a cow kind of by itself, a bull, I don't know. It was I know it was a male, so that makes it a bull, right? But probably castrated, so it was a steer? I don't know. I'm not a farmer. I tip my hat to you farmers. It's a tough job, getting up at the break of dawn and then doing all those chores all day and dealing with livestock. But they let the cattle run free in this part of the park, and the agreement is that you have control of your dog at all time. And I did have control of Basil. He got a little close to this cattle. And I yelled at him, come back, and he did. But there is a funny picture I may post at some point with this bull and Basil staring at each other. That's pretty funny. But dogs make the cows nervous. The cows are kind of like, what? I don't understand. And then the dogs have this herding instinct that kicks in. Even with boxers that really aren't herding dogs. They're more like playing and have fun dogs. But yeah, keep your dogs away from the cattle, I guess is what I'm saying. And that will be the last time I think Basil will ever get that close to any cattle again, because that was a little bit nerve-wracking. Crows with wings that make a whoosh sound are cool. That was something else I noticed when I was walking Basil in this park, was I heard this whoosh, whoosh, and I'm like, what is that? And I look up, and there's a crow flying over me. It was I wanted a Madonna video to start to play. You only see what you want to see. You're frozen when your heart's not open. That was a Madonna video with lots of crows. Very interesting. And then finally, I have to say that I was so happy to go home yesterday, so tired, getting up at 4 a.m., and I wanted to go home and take a nap. And it's always that last couple miles getting home. I go home like at noon, and it is so I don't know what people at noontime do not know how to drive. 12:30, people are like driving as slow as possible. I'm almost home, and all of a sudden a guy pulls out in front of me. He cuts me off basically, and then decides he's going to drive 10 miles an hour where the speed limit is at least 30. And then another guy was like cutting out in front of him. It was cut in front of each other day, and that's why we've all become rageaholic drivers, filled with rage. And that's why I decided to mention that on the podcast, to get that out of the way and to tell you that you and I can commiserate, because they're cutting in front of me as well. Okay, I guess that was the point I was trying to make with that. Don't cut in front of people. If you're lost, move over to the right. Tell all your friends that. Somehow that got lost. The memo got lost for that. Move over to the right. Let people pass you. Jeez, don't stop there in the middle lane. What happened then is there was this website called mikesdailypodcast.com where all the podcast pictures get put. In fact, the podcast picture today is something from Fremont. We'll find out what that is a little bit later. But yes, all that stuff, as well as the links to where you can listen to the show in a bunch of places. And if you want to help out the show and you like to shop on Amazon, there's a link there to Amazon at mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there first before you go to Amazon, because then you help us out and it doesn't change the way you shop, but it's just that one extra click has helped us because we get a little something from that. Or there's the PayPal if you'd like to donate to that and become an Inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And then we're able to afford to eat at Panera. And then finally, there's the podcast picture. All the past interviews and everything else is there at mikesdailypodcast.com. Check it out.
The MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA.
Love is a bird, she needs to fly. Let all the hurt inside of you die. You're frozen when your heart's not open.
The MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA is an amazing book with all kinds of fascinating stories in it. And some recent stories, too. Like in Florida, all these stories happen in Florida for some reason today. Even though we're in California, but I go to Florida to see my mom in Daytona Beach. But did you hear the Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey Circus is retiring their elephants? Now, originally they were going to retire them in 2018, but now they're retiring them this year. Yay for that. 18 months early, and they're going to be going to their special retirement facility. That is the Feld Center for Elephant Conservation in Central Florida is where they're going to be going. Elephants are wonderful animals. People love to watch them. I have been to many a Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey circus because they would give us free tickets through the radio station. But it was always sad to see those elephants being all forced to do stupid tricks and stuff. So now they'll be able to go and be elephant people. Wait, elephant men? No, they're not going to become something from a Scorsese movie. Despite opposition to using circus elephants, the practice has apparently never affected the show's ticket sales. But they're going to be doing the Asian elephants are still performing for them now, but they're going to get an early exit this year. Yay. And another interesting animal story that has to do with Florida has to do with golden retrievers from Istanbul, Turkey. There was a bad explosion in Turkey today in other news, but apparently a bunch of golden retrievers from Turkey have been rescued, and they're being brought to South Florida. They are to Palm Beach, Florida, actually. And also dogs from Mississippi that were being threatened by flooding. They're also being brought to Palm Beach County Animal Hospitals. And the 18 golden retrievers took a 48-hour, 3-continent journey from a part of the world where a crisis over how to handle human refugees didn't stop these dogs from getting to South Florida. The other came from Mississippi animal shelters at risk of being overwhelmed by flooding expected from the rising rivers. This is coming to Palm Beach County, where officials are discouraging rescue groups from importing animals, though. They warn that importing dogs and cats for adoption takes potential homes from thousands of local shelter animals already at risk of being euthanized if they aren't adopted. And also the cost. I saw somewhere the cost of transporting these dogs was quite expensive, something like $1,800 a dog. But they do this in a lot of parts of the world. I know the friend of mine who's been on the show, Petra, from Germany, she rescued dogs when she went on vacation. She would go somewhere, I forget where they go to vacation a lot in Germany, like Greece or something. And there are dogs that need to be rescued there, and she brings a dog back after she... $1,800 per dog for the golden retrievers to travel from Istanbul to Miami with a one-night layover in Luxembourg. So Petra would bring home a dog that needed to be rescued to Germany. But it makes sense when there's countries that don't have a lot of dogs that want to adopt dogs, and you're bringing them from a place that's overrun by them. But anyway, we now have this segment to bring you.
The Daily Haley. The almost Daily Haley.
The Daily Haley Show.
Hey, did we get any response to our previous Daily Haley segment?
Let me check now.
Oh, darn. I tried to drum up the controversy.
Wow. You were the only dissenting voice in a world full of Bowie love.
Well, I can tell you for certain that isn't true, but there's very, very, very few people.
I think his video, the last music video he made, scared me. Because he has this big blindfold on with these weird eyes pushed into the... It's weird. Mm-hmm. And he still looked good at the very end. He left a beautiful corpse. Live fast and leave a beautiful corpse.
That's how the phrase goes.
Yep. He still had all his hair.
Yeah. Well, most of it anyway. I'm sure he lost a few strands. I lost a few strands this morning.
No, what happened?
I constantly lose hair.
Where does it all go?
Usually down the drain.
Does it clog up your drain and then you have horrible plumbing problems and your father gets mad at you and goes, "Hey, quit growing so much hair! Don't!"
No, I get all my hair from him.
So you get a lot of hair?
He's got a big head of hair.
Wow. All those aliens. Oh, God.
I want to believe aliens are real.
So you got some good news today.
Well, kind of good. Like that thing that I had to do instead of the podcast, I'm no longer doing. It's unfortunate, because I would have liked to be doing it, but I do like doing the podcast.
His other job, ding, was running the country.
No.
You were secretly running the country.
I can't admit to that.
It was the Haley IA. He was running a record store circa 1983. Hey, we got the latest Men at Work album.
Oh, I love the latest Men at Work album.
We have the latest Men Without Hats album.
Oh, man, where did their hats go? They can't go to work if they're not wearing their safety hats.
We have the latest Joan Jett album. Hey, you probably would have enjoyed selling Joan Jett albums, huh?
Definitely.
So, we watched Warehouse 13, not together, but at separate times.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that Claudia is big into Joan Jett and that other band she was with, the Runaways.
Yeah.
And she sings.
And she sings a Garbage song. The song isn't Garbage. I love the song. It's by the band Garbage.
Oh, is that the one she sings with her sister?
Yes.
Oh, but her sister... So her sister has not... Wait a minute. What was the deal with her sister? Like, her sister got taken over by a demon or something?
Her sister was, like, in a coma. An induced coma because she was, like, a danger to people around her.
Yeah, she had, like, these superpowers that she could make things fly off shelves and
right.
blow stuff up.
So Claudia thought she was dead, but she wasn't.
She had a tantrum and accidentally killed her parents.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't, honestly?
So Claudia... You've got to watch this show. It's on, like...
Watch the show. You'll never hear the song when I grow up the same way again. I'm crying.
Yeah, so it was sad. They sing together. And then they canceled the show, like, a year later.
No, it was, like, a few weeks later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know.
It was an interesting show. I think had it stayed on, it could have developed quite a following.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it did develop a following, just not as big as it should have.
You ever watched, there's like some show called The In-Betweeners?
Mm-mm.
Or, what's the other one? The 300 or 900 or something? Or Fringe? You ever seen Fringe?
I saw like an episode of Fringe.
I don't know, I haven't seen it. How about Bones? You ever seen Bones?
I've seen a few episodes of Bones. They used to have Bones on when I worked at Target in the break room. Bones would play in the break room. It was like, this is a show.
They help you unwind by watching Bones?
No.
Oh.
It's impossible to unwind. Being in the break room at Target was fun because sometimes they'd forget to pay the cable bill. And so you just go in the break room every... about 3 months or so, and there'd just be a movie on loop.
Oh.
That was interesting.
Everybody wearing their red.
Everyone wearing their red and khaki.
Wow. Sounds it sounds like a great place to work.
Wow, yeah. Everyone go work at Target right now. Don't.
Do you get free clothes there?
No.
Discounts?
Slightly. It's not worth it. The discount isn't even close to worth it.
I spent so much time in damn Targets when I was married. Oh, and when I lived in Alabama, we'd have to go to Target to get our food because the supermarkets sucked. So we'd have to go to Target. It had like a big food section. Now most of them do, huh?
And you couldn't even buy alcohol on Sundays.
I'm telling you, it was horrible. Mm-hmm. You couldn't buy alcohol or beer, anything. Wait, could you buy beer? No, that's alcohol. Yeah, nothing. And then Trader Joe's didn't sell wine in Tennessee. They couldn't sell wine. They could sell beer, but they couldn't sell wine.
Interesting.
I don't understand that.
Because I know that there's some stores that, like, if it's a grocery store, you can't sell alcohol. You have to go to a liquor store to sell alcohol. And at a liquor store, they're not allowed to sell... milk or bread.
Oh.
Because they want it to not be a one-stop shop.
Wait, in the South?
Some states in the South. I'm not talking all of them.
Oh, like a ABC? They had a ABC stores that were run by the government, I guess, and you walked it. All it was booze, just rows and rows of booze.
Yeah.
And I don't know who set the prices, but it seemed like the prices were high.
Yeah, of course, taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's still states that wish the prohibition hadn't ended, you know?
Yeah.
And they make their laws accordingly. It's very strange.
The history is amazing of our country.
As someone who lives around the corner from a liquor store, it just shocks me when I think about it.
About how some states don't allow you to drink.
Yeah.
It's a dry state. A dry county. Yeah. And people grow up there and that's all they know.
Yeah.
And they can't change it. They don't want to change it because they're afraid that demons will come out of the ground and grab their souls and take them back to the fiery hells.
Which is true. But
it is.
We're not going to go into that.
Oh. Well, I think I was going to talk to you about centipedes.
Centipede.
What are centipedes? Those are those little things with a lot of feet.
They got a lot of feet. They also have pincers.
Pincers? Oh, okay.
Too many feet, in my opinion.
What's the ideal amount of legs your animal should have?
6. 2 back legs, 2 front legs, and wings, like a dragon.
Ooh.
What I'm saying is everything should be dragons.
How about unicorns?
Should also be dragons.
How about what are those whales?
Narwhal?
Narwhals.
Narwhals are essentially dragons already.
They breathe fire?
Mm-hmm.
Underwater?
Mm-hmm.
That's pointless.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you want to cover, Haley?
I don't know. I just came in here and I got my dumb bottle of Snapple peach tea, all natural, made from green and black tea, made from the best stuff on earth, naturally flavored with other natural flavors, which is a bit redundant, honestly, and I just filled it with water.
So basically all those ingredients you just said don't even apply to that, what you're drinking.
That's true.
It's just water. Should they put fluoride in our water?
No.
No?
No.
But then everyone's teeth would fall out.
It's true.
Okay. Was Becca happy that her cartoon was on the show's thing?
I think so. She mentioned
picture.
it.
Did she?
Yeah.
I had to blank out the Happy Holidays part.
Happy Holidays, yeah, I saw that.
I hope she didn't get too upset with me messing with her work.
I'll ask her today.
She's probably going to throw a pen at me or something. Or because she uses a iPad, a stylus. She'll throw a stylus at me.
She wouldn't throw a stylus at you, because styluses have a way of disappearing.
Oh.
Like you put your stylus down right in front of you, and then you turn your head away, and then you look back, and it's gone, and you just hear giggling in the background.
Oh.
Because it just ran off.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Styluses. So she's happy that, or something, we don't know. And then the podcast picture today. Oh, gosh. Let me come back to me on that one.
Well, I won't be here for the podcast picture segment, probably, because this is just...
Oh, okay, the Daily Haley, right. So we'll go outside, and then I'll come up with the podcast picture. Okay, we'll do that at the end of our segment. When's the end of our segment? Here.
No.
Now? You don't have anything else?
No.
What about the...
It's an off day for me.
What about the Guatemalans? No?
I have nothing to say about the Guatemalans.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Haley, the Daily Haley. You can find out more about Daily Haley at
dailyhaley.blogword.comnet. That's dailyhaley.dailyhaley@blogword.comnet.
Or all that can be found at kink.com. No, don't go there.
No.
Don't go there. So that's what's so funny is there's a radio station called Kink up in Oregon that's been there forever. I think pre-porno site. And when they started their website, they had to be kink.fm because there was already a kink.com. And people would go to kink.com thinking they were going to the radio station, and then they would see things of a nudity nature. Yeah, when I was at KOHL, the radio station, we had KOHLradio.com, and we used to get calls. Even, like, calls all the time. Like, is this Kohl's? No, it's not Kohl's. Yeah. My aunt used to own this building in Arizona, and half of the building she rented out to this little candle company, and they were called the Arizona Girls Candle Company. And they had their website, ArizonaGirlsCandle.com. And that's a long title. Yes, well, there's a specific reason that they couldn't name it ArizonaGirls.com. Oh, really? And it was the same reason that they couldn't name, Kink couldn't name their website, kink.com. Ah. So. Okay. Yeah. So it had to be Arizona Girlscandles.com. And it was still easy to get them messed up. Oh, that's why you have to go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com and Mike'sASexSlave.com. That's a different website altogether. Don't want to get those confused. Or Mike'sDailyPodcast.org. Oh, God, don't go there. Don't go there. Oh, man. There's some weird stuff on that website. Jeez. Unicorn sex. No, go ahead. I think Rob Black has to use, like, Rob Black Show. I heard him talk about that. Yeah, because he shares his name with a porn star, too. There's a porn star named Rob Black? Yeah, so if you go to the Twitter handle Rob Black, you'll get the porn star. So you have to go to Rob Black Show. That's crazy. Yeah. Huh. I wonder... That doesn't sound... Porn names usually have something a little more, I don't know, snazzy about them. Not for the men. Really? They can just be... They can just be whatever. No one cares about the men. Women have to have this sort of stripper thing going. Yeah, unless they're gay porn stars, it's like they're just kind of there. Okay. No one's actually watching them. Gargamel? No, wait. Anyway, thank you. That was a Smurfs reference. I don't know why I destroyed my childhood just now. Sorry. Anyway, thank you for being on the show, and we'll talk to you hopefully again soon. Maybe next show. Maybe. All right, Haley, as we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture is the Unity sculpture. It's this sculpture that's not too far away from where I work in Fremont. It's a bunch of rings all together, and it's pretty cool, these metal rings. It's a big monument. And I see it just about every day, so I thought I'd show it to you there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Mike Matthews, rings are beautiful. Someday I'll get a ring on my finger. Oh, really? Like, from who? I don't know. Maybe one of those guys that's going to be... Maybe the guy. Maybe one of those guys that's on the short list. For what? Han Solo, the Han Solo prequel movie thing. Oh, yeah, they're doing a movie about Han Solo. Thanks, Chely. Sure, okay, can I go? Yeah. Your input was more than thankfully received. All right, that's great. Yeah, so that picture there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Next show, it's the return of the much-loved segment called Mike's Scavenger Hunt, where we'll try to find an interesting place that you will try to find an interesting place that I have found. If that makes any sense. That's the next show. Plus, we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!